Hello, welcome to the second installation of Epic 2014 supplemental training. I have another picture up on the screen just to allow your computer a couple seconds to get to highest video resolution. Everyone knows who this guy is, right? Famous commercial, Men's Warehouse, and his line that he always says at the end of the commercial is, "I guarantee it." Sorry, bad accent. The reason that I picked it is because I guarantee that you're going to like what I show you. It's widescreen view. You may not like it at first. There's definitely a learning curve, but once you get used to it and have practiced with it for a while, it makes things more efficient. All right, so I'm going to jump into Epic. All right, so this is widescreen view. Just to remind you how to get into it, I'm going to turn it off. I'm just doing this quickly. Because I don't need you to see exactly how I'm doing it. But just to remember, anytime you open an encounter, if you're not already in widescreen view, if you're in the standard view, it's going to have this at the top of the screen, try widescreen view. Once you move over to widescreen view, every time you open an encounter, it's going to be in widescreen view unless you revert back. So really, really, really encourage you to do this. From now on, everything I show you is going to be in widescreen view. So if I do try it, from now on, I don't have to do that every single time. All my encounters are going to open in widescreen view. So you can see the main thing is that you've got a split screen. You've got your main pane or window, and then your right pane or window. And they're both interchangeable. The idea is that, for instance, when you're writing a note, chief complaint, etc., I can still have the visit snapshot open and be going down through it while I'm working on my note, or I can move over to chart review. And if I want to have the chart review open while I'm working on my note, I can move the chart review over to this right side. So if I'm in chart review, I want to move it over to the right side so I can see chart review on the right and still be working in my note on the left. And really this pertains to anything that you're seeing over here in this main pane. You go move, and you click move to sidebar. So now I have over here, I have a couple tabs in my sidebar. The most recent one is this chart review. So I've got my chart review down here, and I still have my note over here. And while I'm working on my note, I can go to chart review, and if I want to kind of compress this down so I can see some of the details that I'm looking for, I can be in my chart review, look at the various things. It opens up the specific appointment down in the bottom of that pane, and still can be working on my note, so I don't have to leave my note to go look at encounters or labs, etc. And then you can see also, because I have multiple panes open, I can still go back to my typical snapshot. It's called this visit. And this is what the snapshot's going to look like. It may be a little bit different than what's been in your training, but this is what we've come down to as seeming to be the best use of space without duplicating sections. So the problem list, medications, allergies, family comments, specialty comments, all the historical sections, immunizations, health maintenance, and then demographics. So that's going to be our snapshot. So that's just the main overview. The big thing with widescreen view is that you've got these four main tabs. So you've got rooming, notes, plan, and wrap up. And that obviously is supposed to kind of group the order of the portions of your visit into individual activities. And then the ones that don't kind of fit into one of those categories are their own, so like growth chart, and letters and signed visit are their own. So today I'm just going to concentrate on rooming for this particular video. And before I go into that though, in fact, I'm sorry, I'm actually not going to do rooming in this video. That'll be the next video. I'm going to show you a couple more things in widescreen view. Okay, so one of the really cool things, and it's not just widescreen view, but Epic 2014 in general, is this search bar. So up here on the right, you're always going to have a search bar whenever you have a patient's chart open. And that's searching everything in that patient's chart. So it's basically Google for that patient's chart. Any type, any note, any lab, any order, everything that's ever been put in is in this database. So say, for instance, you're seeing a patient and they're coming in with constipation, and you kind of want to get an idea of what medications they've been on, what potential studies have been ordered for it, have they ever been referred to GI, because it seems like that's been this chronic thing. I can just go in and type in constipation, and this may not be a great example, but it's the example that I just came up with, and I've pre-populated some of the results just to show how it can kind of be effective at getting some information. So I type in the word constipation and enter. And what it does is basically gives me all the results that have the word constipation from this particular patient. And you can see the tabs up here. This right now is showing me all the results in the patient's chart that have the word constipation. I can filter it by looking just at the notes with constipation. You can see there's 2 notes that have the word constipation, 1 medication, 2 labs, 1 imaging order, and 1 other order. But since there's only a total of less than 10 results, I'm just going to leave it on this all tab. But if it was a word that showed up 50 times in a note and 30 meds, you might want to just look at one particular section. Right now, I'm going to just choose all. All right. And what I can see is, first of all, it's going in chronologic order. So it's chronologic order from newest at the top down to oldest at the bottom. And what I can see is over on the left side here, and I don't want to hover over it too much, but on the left side here, you can see that this is a medication. This picture means that it's an image. This chart here is, I know it's a referral. I'm not sure if that would show up for anything else. This little piece of paper is a note. This is a lab with a result, another lab, and another note. So that's kind of showing you. And you could see if I just went over here and filtered it to notes, you'd see that you just see the 2 notes here. I want to know just a little bit about each of these things. So if I hover over and just don't touch anything, so I can see Miralax, and it gives me this nice little blurb of where the word constipation showed up. So it was in the diagnosis. The patient was given prescription for Miralax. All right. I can see he's had a KUB. That's been ordered. I can see when it was ordered. There's no result. If there was, that would be listed here. I can see he's been referred to gastro, and I can see when. Maybe he was referred and they're still here and they just never made it over to gastroenterology. I can see a telephone encounter. It gives me a little bit of a blurb. You can see kind of this rip line. Basically, this is taken from the encounter and showing me specifically where the word constipation showed up. And I believe if I click on it, it'll open it up, but maybe not. And we can see there was a lab. All right, so I can see that there was a strep ordered. It doesn't show here, but when I ordered it, it was a perianal swab. Perhaps someone ordered that for strep, but actually was positive. So maybe he was having a lot of pain and wasn't pooping because he had a positive swab, a positive strep. Another lab, and another progress note. All right, so that's just basically one simple example of how you can use the chart search option. What I can do is I can go in here and just close. Well, I'm just going to leave it alone. Sorry. All right. The next thing that I want to show you is sending a message from within a chart. So usually we're in a patient's chart. We want to send a message to the referral coordinator or the front desk or the back office about notifying the patient of a normal result or whatever we want to send them a note for. Typically, we think of having to get out of this activity, going into our in basket, going to send message, then doing that F3 to send a message to this particular patient. So it's this whole workflow that you have to do. So instead of that, whenever you want to send a message regarding a patient whose chart you're currently in, you go down to More Activities, click on that, and the second one from the bottom is Send Message. And these all are messages not related to my chart messages. They're just the internal messaging that we use. And so typically the ones that we're going to use are going to be staff, patient callback. It's still going to go to staff. It's just going to be marked as a patient callback. So really staff is typically what you're going to use. And you can see that it goes just right into your typical messaging area. And I want to send a message to my front office. And hopefully you all know how to do the pools. If not, let me know. And you can see that it already has chosen the patient whose chart that I'm in. I can type the message that I want. You can see how it's kind of cut off here. If I ever want to see the full window of this left pane, I can just click on the arrow here, and it gets rid of the right pane. And so I can go in now and accept it. Goes back to my note. Now that right pane is still there, it's just hidden. So you just always can go over here, click on this little arrow, and that opens that back up. So that's how you send a message from the chart. The last thing I'm going to show you in this video is addending a chart from Chart Review. So typically if we want to go in and do an addendum, we'd go up here and click on addendum, and then you pick the patient, and then you pick which encounter you want. So instead of doing that, you can just go into Chart Review, which I don't see. Oh, that's because I have it over here. So if you ever don't find what you're looking for on the right and the left, then it may have been opened up and move over to the right. So in Chart Review, I want to go to Encounters, and I want to find a particular appointment that needs an addendum. And so this particular appointment right here, I got a note from my medical assistant saying that I ordered a POCT lab that was never resulted, and I need to go in and addend that chart and get rid of that order or delete that order. That was one typical example where you need to addend a chart. So I just pick on it. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go down and edit or addend. And that automatically opens up the encounter. Click Create Addendum. It opens up the encounter. I go in, I do whatever it is that I need to do. Perhaps I need to add some documentation, late entry. This is an addendum. And close the addendum. And I still have never left the patient's chart, but I finished doing the addendum without the old workflow. So those are the few examples that I wanted to show you for today. One last thing, if you want to get rid of one of these tabs up here, for instance, we typically use this, or I typically use this, the snapshot here on the right side, so I can always have it open when I'm working on anything on the left side. But if I want to, for instance, move my chart review back over to the left side, I'm going to click this little box on the right side, and I'm going to move it to the left pane. And so you can see chart review went back over here and into the left pane. And then I can just continue on with the rest of my charting. All right, the next couple of videos I'm going to show you are going to be one video specifically on rooming and all the things in that section. We'll do some stuff about notes, note personalization, touch a little more on what I've talked about in the past on that, and then we'll have a plan and wrap up video. So stay tuned. Thanks for your attention.